Now that we better understand what auto layout does, let's use it to build our button. We'll start by adding a new text layer that will serve as our button's label. With the text tool enabled, click on the canvas and type button. Use the properties in the typography section to change the font weight to semi-bold, the font size to 18, and the line height to auto. Leave the font family set to enter and the alignment set to center. Now let's add auto layout. Select the text layer and use the keyboard shortcut Shift-A. Let's take a look at what happened. Figma automatically created a frame around the text layer and applied auto layout to it. Double-click on the frame name and rename it to Button. We'll adjust the auto layout properties in a bit, but first, let's style our button. Double-click on the text layer inside the button frame. Type F in the field next to the color swatch in the Fill section, and press Enter. Figma will take the single F we entered and assume we want to fill the hex code with only Fs, which sets the fill to pure white. Next, select the button frame and click the plus in the Fill section to add a fill. Type 0 in the field next to the color swatch and press Enter. Just like before, Figma takes the 0 we entered and fills out the rest of the field with zeros and changes the fill to black. Finally, let's round the corners of our button to give it a friendlier look. In the Appearance section, change the corner radius to 8. It's looking a lot more button-like. If you're interested in learning more about button design best practices, check out our Design Your First Button project on the Figma Help Center. Now we can start adjusting the auto layout properties to customize how our button looks and feels. You may notice that the layout section in the right sidebar has changed to auto layout and now includes some additional properties. The dimensions fields also changed and are now resizing fields. In addition to being able to set a fixed width and height for the frame, we now have the option to set the parent frame to hug contents, which means that it will automatically resize as the button label grows or shrinks. Test this out for yourself by changing the button label to Continue or Next. Because we'll use this button element again in different contexts, we'll leave the resizing properties set to Hug Contents for maximum flexibility. That way, if we need to change the button's label or translate it into a different language, we won't have to worry about manually resizing it. Finally, let's talk about padding. You may be wondering why Figma set the padding to 10. Because there weren't any other layers around our text layer to indicate the spacing we want, Figma automatically used our big nudge preference, which is set to 10. If we had an existing frame around the text layer before applying auto layout, Figma would maintain the distance we had between the text layer and frame. Let's change the horizontal padding to 16 to make the button's width slightly longer than its height. Since our final design will include several buttons, let's turn the button into a main component. This will give us the ability to add reusable instances to our designs, so we won't have to recreate the button from scratch. To turn the button into a main component, select the button frame and click Create Component in the right sidebar, or use the keyboard shortcut. You'll notice the button is now inside a purple bounding box, and the icon in the Layer section has also changed to a 4 diamonds icon. This indicates the layer is a main component. We'll learn more about the power of main components and instances in the next video. Before moving on, Make sure you've styled your button, set the auto layout properties, and turned it into a main component.